Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ruach Kodash. I want to send double honor to my elders, apostles, and bishops at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and safety is to the hopeful elect Hakim out there doing this work. Much love to the scattered elect and to the few sincere women that subscribe to the true doctrine. This is the brother you call the mouth with the Great Millstone Camp, the branch out here in Omaha, Nebraska. Coming back with another lesson, Lord willing, to feed and to edify the lost sheep of the nation of Israel through the Holy Spirit. Ruach Kodash. And the Israelites consist of the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans by the seed of your father, no matter what you may look like. And I want to get into this right here, which is live on BBC News. It says Trump accuses Iran and Israel of violating ceasefire, as we've been seeing the back and forth with, these two nations going at it, which started with Israel striking first, and Iran retaliating. All right. So it's been 12 days of this going on. Today is June the 24th, 2025, the hopeful year of our deliverance and the destruction of Esau, Edom. All right. And, it's the ceasefire was called for, I believe, yesterday, right? June the 23rd. But, there's, as Trump said, right after that ceasefire was called for, Israel struck, Israel shot a missile right after that, or rockets right after that, right? Which allegedly didn't hit anything. And through the spirit, one of the brothers, he sent through something in the chat, how Israel, Beersheba, was actually just struck post ceasefire. Okay, so things are ramping up like this because this is biblical prophecy. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, his prophecies will not fail. Okay, now by Israel starting this whole conflict, that's in direct correlation with the book of Jeremiah, the 49th chapter, and Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, okay, where it speaks about the least of the flock drawing them out, okay, and the least of the flock is the nation of Israel. It was the last nation that was under the Balfour Declaration that was established, okay, in 1948 with the small hats, okay. So this is why America, because Israel is also via through the Balfour Declaration that comes from the same people where America comes from, which is Great Britain. Okay, so this is an offshoot. They're in cahoots with one another. They're just a younger nation. So this is why it speaks about the least of the flock shall draw them out. And America has a defense pact, an agreement with Israel that if they get into any conflict, America has to intervene. Okay, which that has been going on, as there was an article, or video rather, that I ran into yesterday, where they had Operation Hammer or something like that. Salakia. It's like Operation Warhammer or something like that, right? Where America, they allegedly struck some bases, some Iranian military bases, or nuclear bases, right? Which now they're coming back and saying, they didn't actually hit anything, all right? But things are ramping up, man. All right, I have to see I believe it's Operation Warhammer, right? Yeah. So in the Operation Warhammer, which is a B-2 strikes on Iran, and this was dated as of June the 22nd, 2025, and this is not the actual article I ran into initially. This is from TWZ.com. It says the mission So like a B-2 strikes on Iran. What we know about Operation Midnight Hammer, the mission that has been in contingency planning and rehearsal for many years, included access from below and waves to space. And so, I mean, and that goes to show you that, America's been practicing its war tactics, because when I looked into this Operation Warhammer, they pretty much sent decoy B-2 bombers to, pretty much, be the sacrifice in a sense, while you had other B-2 bombers that were following right behind it to actually deliver the strike. Okay, as it says right here in the second paragraph, U.S. Air Force B-2 Spirit stealth bombers dropped 14 30,000-pound GB-2 57B massive ordnance penetrators, or MOP as they call it, bunker buster bombs on Iran's Fordo and Natanz nuclear facilities. Hegseth and Kane confirmed the attack marked the first operational use of the MOP. A total of 125 aircraft, included the B-2s, supported the aerial component of the operation. So things are about to start happening, man. And guess what? This is, though they called for a ceasefire, there were still people that were killed post ceasefire. Okay, you had individuals, and I forget what the brother sent through, but it was going to how Beersheba, which is in I believe in southern Israel, was struck, and 4 people were killed. Right, so there's going to be a retaliation, and there's going to go be a back and forth, and this is the times that we're living in. Okay, let's actually start here. I want to get the least of the flock as well, but Matthew chapter 24, and let's see, Matthew 24 and verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled." Right? And is not this a wars and rumors of wars? Okay. Now, as I did mention, America is in a defense pact with Israel, so they have to retaliate in some form or fashion, because they made an agreement, they made a covenant with them. Okay. And this is essentially Russia will get involved, though it did. One of the elder brothers sent a article through where it says that Russia and China, they pretty much abandoned Iran, okay, in this conflict. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be a major part of this this war that's coming, that's going to be between America and Russia and China. Okay. So this is, we're living in, and meanwhile, you got Jake out here. I won't even say Jake. You got your U.S. troops. They're doing TikToks and dancing and things like that. And you don't see these Iranians out here TikToking and dancing. They're ramping up for war, man. They're ramping up to take you out. Okay. Now they said with this Operation Warhammer that I mentioned, that there were sleeper cells throughout the Americas that were going to be activated at some point. Okay, which they were, just to say it plainly, the terrorist attacks by these sleeper cells that are set up throughout the states. All right, so things are about to get bad, man. Meanwhile, Jake is out here dancing. Jake is out here making trends. Jake is out here worried about what Diddy and Cassie is doing. All right, you worried about this, that, and the third. But, war is right at the doorsteps, man. All right? It says, "See that ye be not troubled." That's talking to the elect, because the elect's not going to be troubled. We've been looking at these things. We've been watching. Okay? And we see what's going on, and we know that we're living in the time of Babylon's destruction. All right? Now, before that destruction of Babylon comes, that MOTB, that Revelation 13 and 16, has to be fulfilled, where the majority of the Americans are going to be micro C-hip, man. That has to come to pass first. But these things are simultaneously happening as you see the micro C-hip becoming more and more popular. People are voluntarily getting it. Okay, technology is at an all-time high with this AI that may be used in some of these psyop attacks. Okay, this AI looks realistic, man. and Esau Edom's going to use it in some way, form, or fashion. All right, I don't know exactly how, but I bet you bottom dollar he's going to use it. Okay, why would you be advancing something or putting so much money into AI to not use it towards your NWO plan? Okay, but let's read on. It says, "For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation." And also, what else was happening in the midst of all this? The Strait of Hormuz was closed. Okay, which is a very important port where a lot of oil is distributed. So that's going to cut a lot of people up. What does that mean? Gas prices are going to spike. Okay, oil is used for so many things. The prices of everything is going to skyrocket. Okay, to the point where, hey, America, might not even be able to afford these resources, man. All right. I need to get a little bit more into politics, but it makes sense. It makes sense, that the prices of things will go up, the quantity of things will decrease. All right. It says, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. Okay, so we're living in a time of war, man. We're living in a time of as it says, let's read the next verse. It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. The things that we're witnessing right now, it's just the tip of the iceberg, man. Okay, now getting back to this, so it says here in this article in BBC, it says U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear facilities did not destroy the Iranian nuclear program and have likely only set it back by months, according to an intelligent assessment, because America, its whole goal was to shut down the the nuclear activity of Iran. Okay, so this is why that strike happened. And this is the thing about America, to being a big bully. You're going around trying to shut people's operations down, the nuclear operations down. And what is that? What is he trying to do within that? He's trying to upset the prophecy where it says, let's get that in the book of Joel. Okay, it was Joel, the 3rd chapter. I know I typed in Joel. Let the weak say we are strong. Okay. Yep. This is Joel chapter 3 and verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves together and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord Yahweh. So what was Babylon's plan to do? Shut down people who have nuclear capability. Okay? But you're not going to be able to upset this prophecy, because Yahweh Shema Shai had it written in the book of Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, I believe the 50th and the 51st chapter in Jeremiah, to point all those arrows at Babylon and shoot at her. All right? So Iran's going to be part of that. China's going to be part of that. Russia's going to be part of that. All right? And even, I want to say, no, because Turkey is still part of NATO, but Turkey is in good with Russia. So that's a possibility that Turkey may even shoot missiles on America. All right? So the Most High is gathering, he's mustering a host of the battle to come up against Babylon the Great, man. All right? But getting back to this, it says it was produced by the Pentagon's Defense Intelligence Agency and was reported by U.S. media on Tuesday, citing sources. The White House says the assessment is flat out wrong and is a clear attempt to demean President Trump. Meanwhile, a ceasefire appears to have been taken between Israel and Iran, with both nations acknowledging that it is in place. Right? But we know. In fact, let's see if I can pull this up, because the brother just sent this through. Right? So I'm not going to play it.
Now, at least,
right? But as it says, you see the title, Israel-Israel ceasefire destruction after Iranian missile strike in Beersheba, right? So this is after the ceasefire, right? They're not going to honor that ceasefire, man. It's not going to last long, all right? Before things get more serious, before there are actually boots on the ground, American troops, okay? Things are about to get very serious, man. And this is why we have to be, as men of the Lord, we have to be circumspect in everything. That way, we are in position to not get caught up in this mess. All right? We're chanting Babylon down. We're going to continue to chant Babylon down and pray for its destruction because we're trying to get the hell home, man. All right? We're trying to get to the kingdom of heaven, New Jerusalem. All right? But this is what you see going on right now. Right? Now I did mention boots on the ground. Right? This is going back to the point I was making in Jeremiah 49th chapter, Jeremiah 49:20. It says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman." All right? Who is Teman? Teman are today's Germans. Now who is because they're known, they're popular for their extensive knowledge of things. As you had Oppenheimer himself, who created the atom bomb. Okay, who was which was a very he was was that Big Boy and Little Man, right? Those atomic bombs. Okay, so they're highly skilled in creating atom bombs and as well as nuclear weapons. Okay, it says, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." Going back to that's Israel, drawing out who? Its allies, starting with America. All right. It says, "Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them," meaning that there's going to be a major conflict that's going to lead to a lot of casualties on both sides, man. Okay, and we're just looking forward to it, man. All right, we're looking forward to that. So I'm going to leave it there for now. So with that being said, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. Double honor is to my elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Peace, love, and safety is to the elect. Shalom.